Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeanette. If you are new here, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends because you shouldn't be greedy with information, okay? So today we are talking about apartments. Because I recently posted an apartment tour, I was just like, you know what? Let me explain to these people how these apartments work in China. If you haven't watched my apartment tour yet, I'm going to link it up here so that you can watch it. To everyone who wants to come down here once the borders are open, you can just come back to my channel and rewatch this video so that you can refresh your memory when the borders do open, okay? So I want to explain the differences between an apartment, a provided apartment or a free apartment, and a housing allowance. So when you do apply to come and work in China, you need to be provided with housing when you come here as a foreigner, right? It's either they're going to provide you with a free apartment or they're going to offer you a housing allowance, right? So today I'm going to be sharing with you the pros and cons of both, right? Because I have experience with living in an apartment that I've been paying for myself with the housing allowance that I was supposed to be given, right, by the school. But obviously, if you've watched my videos, you will understand that I never got to the part where I was given the housing allowance, so I had to use my own money to pay for that apartment, right? And then I also have the experience of living in a free apartment that is provided by the school, right? So in terms of having a free apartment, from my personal experience, I would say having a free apartment is the way to go. The reason I'm saying that is because we never know when this virus is going to end and everything is going to go back to normal again. Although things do look normal in China, it's not 100% normal. Like, you're always living with that anxiety of what if, what's next, you know? And seeing that nothing is certain and the future is uncertain, I would recommend living in a free apartment. The reason being, the first advantage would be that you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to worry about rent. I don't know how much this apartment costs. I don't know whether it's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I do not know. It's none of my business, okay? But I have a roof over my head. I have a fully furnished apartment, which is what you usually get in China. Like, whether the school is going to provide you with a free apartment or whether you're going to get your own, there's always basics that you will find in an apartment, like couches, TV. Some apartments do have TV, some don't have, a fridge, a bed, a dining table sometimes. You don't need to buy the huge stuff unless if you want to like add your personality. You don't like the furniture because some of the furniture is sometimes too old and you want to buy modern furniture, but usually you don't have to be calculating how much you're going to have left when you're done paying for your rent and whatnot. The only thing you have to worry about is utilities, water, electricity and your gas. That's it. And your Wi-Fi. Some schools do pay for those things. Honestly, my school right now, ever since I've been here, I haven't paid for anything. The last time I got like a slip at the door, which is like a statement of my water and electricity, I sent it to them and they were like, we'll take care of it. So I do know that there are some people who also have schools that are taking care of everything. They're just living free. Like, the salary that they get is for their own stuff and nothing to do with the living expenses. And you can always negotiate. You know what? If you have good negotiating skills, use those negotiating skills and you might just live rent-free, utility-free in China. So that's the first pro, right? The second pro would be that if anything is to happen, if the city is to shut down or something happens, we have another virus, or even if it's not COVID, but we have something else blowing up in our faces again and the world stopping or anything coming to an end, you don't have to worry about rent because you will always have a roof over your head. And even if they have to reduce your salary, you don't have to be worried about, oh no, with this little amount that I'm getting, I still have to pay rent and this and this and this. The little that you'll be getting, if your salary is reduced, you only have to worry about other things like food and all the other things that you need to take care of, but nothing to do with the roof over your head. I know how it feels to have no income but having to pay for your rent and having all the other expenses that come with just surviving and being an adult, right? So that's why I do think that's a pro. You don't need to worry about such things when stuff hit the fan. And another advantage would be that usually the school gives you an apartment that was given to the previous teacher that you'll be replacing when you get to that school, right? So usually the previous teacher might have furnished the apartment and bought more appliances and have not taken the appliances wherever she or he will be moving to, so you won't have to buy a lot of other appliances because the previous teacher had made that apartment a home. But the disadvantages would be that usually when the school provides you with an apartment, as you've seen from my previous video, it is old school. Look at this. This is old school. The furniture is outdated. Everything is outdated. And then you'll have to buy more things to make it look more modern for you, or like just suit your personality and so forth. Another disadvantage would be that if the school is trying to save money, right, they will try and get you an apartment that is further away from the school, depending on the city you're going to. Like right now, my apartment is pretty close to my school. I walk, like, the school is a 3-minute walking distance from my apartment, which is very, very cool. But my previous school, I had a free apartment and I had to catch a DD every day to work because there were no buses taking a route that I had to take to work, right? So I had to take a DD every day, which was an expense. And the school was trying to save money because the apartment's closer to the school, which was at a shopping center. Obviously, living close to a shopping center is more expensive, right? So they were trying to get an apartment that is further away from the shopping center, which meant I had to spend more money on transport. So one thing you also need to make sure of before you get excited over a free apartment is the distance between the school and the apartment that they're providing you with. We're all trying to save costs here, right? You're not trying to be spending too much money on unnecessary things. So I would recommend that if you are going to go for a free apartment, make sure that it's pretty close to your school. Another disadvantage would be that when you come into an old apartment, an apartment that is provided by the school, which is usually old, you have to do a lot of cleaning. Honestly, there are people who can help you with the cleaning, but if you're never satisfied with people's cleaning like me, then you obviously have to do a lot of scrubbing and cleaning just so that the apartment can be up to your cleaning standard. Honestly, I had to do a lot of scrubbing here, and my previous apartment that was provided by the school, I had to do a whole lot of scrubbing. But with the apartments that I got for myself, I didn't have to do as much cleaning because I could point out things and be like, clean this, clean this, clean this, this is dirty, clean this before I move in, right? But with a free apartment, the school will be like, oh no, we called someone to clean your apartment. And then when I get here, I'm like, did the person really clean? Like, clean where? How? Like, it still looks dirty. So I had to just scrub it myself. And with that being said, I'd say getting your own apartment is actually fun. I mean, you can go apartment hunting, view a couple of apartments that you like. You get to choose the apartment that you love or the apartment of your dreams, depending on how much you want to spend, right? So I like the fact that you have a choice. The fact that you have a variety of choices to choose from is an advantage by itself. The second advantage would be that you can actually spend less than what the school is giving you. You can save the difference and spend the difference on other things that you're interested in, or go shopping or do whatever. Some will give you like a set amount of housing allowance, and then some would be like, okay, get an apartment yourself and then we will pay for like a percentage of the rent. And also sometimes if you get your own apartment, you'll have to buy things such as your own TV, your own dining table. If you want to eat on a dining table and the apartment does not have a dining table, you just have more things to buy. You know, these people, when you go to the agency, they're like, foreigner, okay, foreigner price. Chinese, okay, local price. So sometimes they just look at you and they're like, okay, because you are a foreigner, you can afford to pay more. So they give you like a foreigner price, if I can call it. And also another disadvantage would be that you have to pay a deposit upfront, and usually in China they ask for 3 months worth of rent as a deposit, which is a lot, guys. Imagine if your apartment is about 3,500. That's how much I was paying in Guangzhou. 3,500 per month, right? That is more than 7,000 rands. If you're coming from South Africa and you have to like start off from scratch with your South African savings, right? You have to pay 7,000 times 3 plus that month's rent, which is 4 months worth of rent. 7, 14, 21, 28, 28,000 just to start living in an apartment, just to have a roof over your head when you get here. And also, the day you decide to move out, I've heard a lot of people crying about people not giving back their deposit. So that's another disadvantage. You pay 3 months worth of rent, and then when you leave, they give you stories. They don't want to give you back your money because they say you did this to our apartment, or we will give you, we will give you. They keep on postponing the dates of giving you your deposit back. Some people don't get their deposit back, which is a loss, you know. Another thing would be that, like I said, if COVID hit or any other virus hits and then life has to stop, then you have to now worry about paying rent while there's not much income coming through, right? And that's not what you want. And also, if you want to resign before the end of your contract, let's say you want to resign, or maybe there's another school that is offering you something better than what you're currently getting, and you're like, let me make this move quick, you know. It's very hard to just make that impromptu move, because you're going to be having to think about the deposit that you paid, because if you move before the end of the contract, you will have to now forfeit your deposit, which was a lot.